in terms of a background, I'm really curious, what inspired you to set this up? What was your intention? Has it grown beyond that? And I guess, what have you gotten from the establishment of WallStreetBets?
First, thanks for having me on. My intention when I first started WallStreetBets, I literally was trying to get myself familiarized with high risk, high return trading potential, playing with stock options specifically, and there was just an absence in the market for a community that could discuss these things, and they could learn, and they could create a community out of it. Did I expect it to turn into this? Absolutely not. I think it's gone well past anything I could have ever imagined. It's quite impressive.
Impressive. A lot of people have criticisms. A lot of people are very supportive of this. I'm wondering what's driven this phenomenon. So, I've heard it being referred to as flows before pros. We talk about the market striking this balance between greed and fear, right? Is it still greed that's driving these retail investors, these Reddit investors, or is it something else? Is it anger at the establishment?
I mean, is it greed? Everyone that plays in the stock market, or everyone that invests in it in a serious manner, or anyone that trades with it kind of an in-between, they all looking to make money. Call that greed if you'd like to. It's what everyone's there to do, and there's no way around that. And the fact that everyone takes a different approach towards this, it speaks to itself. You have institutional investors that take a very scholarly approach to it, value investing and growth investing and whatnot. You have active traders that use different mechanisms to try and make money, which is using chart patterns and technical analysis. And then you have this new phenomenon that showed up, which looks like meme stock trading. This is just people kind of get together and having a good time with it and being unapologetic about why they're there and being refreshingly honest about, the reason for being there.
So, Jaime, having seen this grow in the past few years, do you feel like this a newfound era of retail traders' power? Is this a new normal, or is this just a short-term phenomenon?
There's definitely a new normal for here to stay. When you asked the second part of your previous question, is this us versus them? Is this the establishment versus not? Yeah, I think that's kind of an unintended consequence. I think that this whole thing started the way it always does, with people trying to make money, and they happened to stumble upon this trade. They got organized. They all happened to got into the same trade, and because of the huge amount of volume that went into it, we've seen what's happened with the stock price, and there's been this side narrative about the establishment, and I think that there's a lot of feelings that were left buried from Occupy Wall Street that are kind of resurfacing from people. But I think the original intention was just let's make some money, and it kind of had a feel good. Well, it's not even an ending. It's still kind of development in the story as far as how they've been able to show their force. Where is this going? I don't know, but it's definitely here to stay.
How do you feel about these online brokerages that had helped in really leading to these trading frenzy, actually restricting some of this trading now?
I'm dying to know the backstory of it. That's been the topic of the day, and I don't know what that story is. When it comes to certain brokers doing this, TD Ameritrade and things, brokers of that category, it kind of makes sense to them. But the fact that Robinhood took this step today says to me, and it smells a lot like they were pressured into it. It makes no sense that the history of their growth. They've gone through growing pains, but they also have a very well-established demographic, and they're not afraid of these types of controversial news stories. It's not the first time WallStreetBets makes it to the news, certainly the first time it makes it to this magnitude, but I doubt they woke up this morning and said, I feel like restricting trades just because it feels right. I'm dying to know the backstory before I can really dig into my opinion.
When you take a look at the level of coordination in some of these forums, does that look like market manipulation to you, though? First off, I'm not a lawyer, I'm not an expert, but market manipulation, from what I've seen and from what I've been able to read about in these discussions, it has a very narrow definition. Market manipulation, pump and dump, all these potential regulatory conflicts that are bringing up, they're very specific, and this doesn't quite fully fit to it, right? From my understanding, if you're doing market manipulation, you're misleading people, and
the majority of them, I haven't read all the millions of comments, so I can't speak to all of them, but the majority of them seem to say, let's buy this stock because it's going up, and they're not trying to hide the fact that they're doing this. They're all aware that at some point it's going to turn back around. As far as I'm concerned, they're probably going to switch their bets to shorts, buying puts, which is what they would do. And we'll see where that goes. But at the end of the day, yeah, that's pretty much.
Jaime, we of course continue to see the underbelly of this, right? Whether it's hate speech or really racist remarks in the subreddit as well. Does there need to be more housekeeping, or does that go against the spirit of what these online forums where you can express yourself were about from the beginning?
Look, there's a fine line between freedom of speech and hate speech. There's offensive speech, and then there's hate speech. I do believe there needs to be some house cleaning. In fact, I was a moderator throughout the entire time up until April of last year, and part of the reason why I was removed as a moderator is I decided to take action towards this hate speech. I had kind of ignored it a little bit and just kept getting out of hand, and I got rid of this Discord chat room that was associated with it. There were really offensive images that were being placed, on the banners, the logo type. And when I tried to do this house cleaning, some of these moderators took action against me, and they managed to convince Reddit that I, was breaking some terms, and they succeeded at that. But, watching this from the sidelines, it absolutely needs to happen. We saw yesterday the Discord themselves, this is the chat room, where they also talk about these things. They decided to cancel that server. They got rid of it for that same reason. So absolutely, I think it needs to happen.